What's up, everybody? Thank you for coming back to my kitchen and seeing what Billy B cooking today. Today, you see we have this beautiful picanha. Picanha comes from the top of the fat cap of the rump of the cow. It's like, you know, the rump roast, this is the top of that. So it don't get a lot of exercise in the cow, so it's a very soft cut of meat. It's been called the queen of steaks, and actually it's the national steak of Brazil. It's called the queen of steaks because it's soft, it's tender like a filet mignon. It's about that tender, but it has the taste of a ribeye. Ribeye's got more of a beefy, meaty flavor. So this is like the marriage between the two. It's a wonderful cut. It's got a nice fat cap on top of it. You can see a big, thick fat cap. And this one here, I got it from Publix. And think about this, like this big old cut, we're gonna cut steaks out of it, 25 bucks for this big old piece. And we're gonna get about 4 or 5 pieces or steaks out of it. So we're gonna jump right in. And I see just a piece of silver skin at the top. I don't like any silver skin on my meat, so we're just gonna cut that off. This has been well trimmed by Publix, so shout out to y'all. Just a piece of fat here that we won't need, so we're just going to cut that. Excuse me. And the reason why we have this over here, because if you've been following my channel, I live in an upstairs apartment. They won't let me have I got a nice Weber kettle grill that's at my buddy's house because they won't let me have it here on the second story of this apartment. So my buddy's making full use of my grill, and he's taking care of it. I done checked it out, and I get to go and visit it on weekends and make stuff over at his house and on my baby. But this here, what we're gonna do today is we're gonna sous vide this picanha. And then after we sous vide it, you'll see, if you don't know what sous vide is or haven't seen my previous videos, you'll see that process. But we're gonna sous vide this, and then afterwards, we're gonna take this little baby grill outside because it's raised up on a grill grate, and we're gonna put the steaks on here, and Daddy gets to play with his torch. You'll get to see that too. That's a lot of fun. We're gonna vacuum seal these steaks with salt, pepper, and garlic powder. That's all I use on my steaks, and that's all you need. Trust me. And then I'm gonna take some of this rosemary a friend of mine gave me. Shout out to Holly, thank you. We're gonna take some of this rosemary and put it in when we vacuum seal the steaks. So let's get started. So like I said, this is beautifully cut already. There really ain't much fat to trim off of it. They did a really good job. And with the picanha, what you want to do, you want to follow the grain of the meat. Right? You cut it with the grain to cut the steaks out of it, because after you cut the steaks with the grain, as you're eating the steak, you're cutting against the grain to get the piece you're going to eat, and that's going to be the softest, most tender piece. So as you can see here, the grain is running this way. I don't know if y'all can see that, but it's running along this way. So we're just gonna follow the grain on that, and we're gonna cut it thusly. You want about 1.5 inches if you can. 1.5 inch steaks, and I'm just kind of eyeballing it. I ain't pulling out a tape measure, nothing like that. We're not building a house, but we are making a wonderful dinner. Oh, and I can tell this is Dad's piece right here. Yes, sir. Oh, I need to sharpen my knife up a little bit, looks like. Alright, just kind of try to get these two even, about the same thickness as possible, because there we go. And we got some pretty decent marbling through it. I mean, it's not Wagyu A5 or nothing, but you know, 25 bucks at Publix. Like I said, as soft and tender as this is going to be, you can't get no better. Now, the second thing is, after I cut them into steaks, right? The fat cap, you want to leave most of the fat cap on, because that's just going to be, it's like, if you've ever had a ribeye grilled perfectly or cooked perfectly, there's fat in a ribeye that's just soft and delicious, got so much flavor. Well, that's how this fat cap is on the picanha, but you don't want too much of it. You know what I mean? So you can just lightly cut some of that off. Just like I said, because you know, everybody likes a little fat. Not everybody likes a lot of fat. So just cut a little bit off. Just what you think, you know. So we trim some of the fat off, and you know, that's about good enough eating. You know what I mean? Eating fat, because the rest of the fat on the inside and the muscle, that's gonna render down and melt. But you don't want to get rid of this fat, right? Save that, because you can. Oh, that is good fat. And fat is flavor. So you can always take this, and instead of using an oil in the pan when you go to fry something or whatever, you can take some of this fat and put it in your pan and slow render it down into grease, and you can cook with this. So take this and just put it in the freezer for a later date. Easy peasy. Now we're going to season the steaks, both sides and the edges, because it's a wonderful cut of meat. The flavor is amazing by itself. So I'm just going with a good amount of salt. Going in with the salt. Going in with some fresh cracked black pepper. And then going in with some garlic powder. Look how beautiful these are, again. Oh my gosh. Salt, pepper, garlic powder. Then don't forget your edges, both sides. All right, so now that we got both sides seasoned, we're gonna go ahead and put them in our vacuum bags and seal them up. First, I pre-sealed some bags, get them ready. So this here, we're gonna do this manually. And take you a sprig of rosemary. I don't know what the science is on, come on bitch. I don't know what the science is on how much osmosis works on just putting the sprig on top of the steak, but we're gonna see what it do. All right, then after you get it in your bag, get it how you want it. I got this. Yep, got it plugged up. Perfect. Go ahead and place your bag in there. Vacuum seal it. Watch this magic. That's fun. Ain't that something? And it vacuums it out, vacuums all the air out, and then it's supposed to seal as well. So let's see. Perfect. See, it's got that good seal at the top, but I like to double seal it just in case, because I don't want no water getting in. All right, so we got the steaks vacuum sealed. I got three steaks in here, and then the two bigger ones here. So we got those vacuum sealed. We have, I don't know if you can see this, we have our sous vide machine. I got it set for 130 degrees, right? The best medium rare steak is about 133 and 134 degrees, 134 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's medium rare, that's what we're going for. So we're gonna set this at 130 degrees. We put these in the water, and the water heats the steaks up inside the bag to whatever temperature you set it to. And then when you take it out, you'll see it looks gray and not that tasty, but when we put it on this grill and hit it with this torch, that's gonna put the sear on the outside without cooking it any more on the inside. This is gonna cook the inside to perfection. You can't overcook it, you can't undercook it, as long as you set it at the right temperature. This puts the sear on the outside, and then we have a beautiful steak. Now, while this is gonna be cooking, something else I didn't tell y'all, we're doing something special again. I invented something. I think I did. They say everything's been done. I don't think this has been done before. I made mashed potatoes and gravy without making any gravy, right? I know I sound crazy. But I'm going to show you how I make my homemade mashed potatoes, lumpy style this time. And the ingredients I put in is going to taste, like when you eat the mashed potatoes, it's going to taste like there's gravy on it. But I ain't making no gravy. I'll show you that trick when we get back. Alright, so we have our water up to temperature, 133 degrees. We're going to do 2 hours and 40 minutes of cooking. I've had the steaks in the refrigerator just kind of cooling, letting them marinate a little bit. Doesn't really need a marinade, but because they're going to cook with the marinade on them, which is salt, pepper, garlic, like you've seen. And if you see it, when you put your bags in, if your bags start to float, check this out. I got this cool little thing you can buy off Amazon. It's chainmail. Remember chainmail from the Roman Empire and all that shit? Anyway, it's chainmail. It's stainless steel, so you can use it as a weight. Just lay it over the top of your steaks. It'll hold them down in the water so they don't float to the top. And they stay submerged. And we're going to cook for, like I said, 2 hours and 40 minutes. I'd like to go 3 hours, but I ran a little bit late with the video tonight. So 2 hours and 40 minutes are good. The best thing about sous vide is I set it for 240, right? For 2 hours and 40 minutes. If I happen to go somewhere, go to the grocery store or something, I come back and it's been 3.5, 4 hours, there's nothing wrong with the steaks. They're still good. They're not overcooked because this water is only going to stay at 133 degree temperature. And that's just going to keep it the perfect temperature that we want. So it's not going to overcook it. It's not going to undercook it. I'm just going for 2 hours and 40 minutes so I can get the consistency, the tenderness that I want with the temperature. So we're going to let this run. And in the middle of this, once it gets closer, about an hour away, 30 minutes away, we're going to do the mashed potatoes. And I'll show you that part. That's going to be fun. But let this run. We'll be right back. All right, so we still got about 20 minutes left on the steak. So now we're going to go ahead and start with our mashed potatoes. So I put these on high so they can go ahead and start to boil. And what's going to help them boil is salt. So put you a good bit of salt in there. And that's going to help the boiling process, and it's going to draw some moisture out of the potatoes. Now, as far as the potatoes go, I cut them up into quarters, right? That was a big one, but I cut them up into quarters. That way, if you cut them up too small, if you cut them up really small, they will cook faster. They'll get softer faster, but you'll boil all the starch out of your potato, and if it makes any sense, it'll be more watery tasting than actual potato flavor. All right, so we got the potatoes in the pot. We're gonna go ahead while it's still hot. We're going in with our cold ingredients. Going in with some butter. And it's a lot of potatoes, so we're going to use a lot of butter. Not that much. Not that much butter. Going in with some, a little bit of heavy cream. Just to make it look creamy. And a secret recipe, don't tell nobody. I'm going in with some ranch dressing. A little bit. Just a little bit. It's not going to make it taste like ranch like you would think. It's going to give it a creaminess though. And then while that's still hot, go ahead and mash that up. While that's melting your butter, go ahead with your salt. That's a good bit of potatoes, so go in with a good bit of salt. Nobody likes bland potatoes. Go in with your pepper. And you can use white pepper if you want. White pepper tastes just like black pepper, except it's white, more aesthetically pleasing in a fancy restaurant, but we're not in the fancy restaurant, we're in Billy B's kitchen. Get some pepper in there. I'm going in with some garlic and herb paste. I'm going in with some oregano. And here's the trick I was telling y'all about. I can make, it's crazy, I just found out this the other day. I can make mashed potatoes and gravy without making gravy whatsoever. And what that starts out with is get you some browning seasoning. And if you were making like a gravy, you would use browning seasoning anyway. So that's where my inspiration comes from. Just add a dash of that. Just a little bit, not much. It's pretty thick and heavy on its own. Go with some Maggi seasoning. Maggi seasoning makes everything wonderful. Get you a couple dashes of Maggi. Then, this is going to upset some chefs. Going with a little bit of liquid smoke. This happens to be applewood smoke. But it's going with a little bit of smoke. Mix all that up. This is about the consistency you want right here. Right? It's good and creamy without being watery and not too lumpy. Now, let's go ahead and get these steaks worked on. So the steaks are done, so we're going to go ahead and pull them out the package and then get them set up to go outside, and we're going to hit them with the blowtorch. You'll see what's up with that. That's going to be a good time. Let's go on the cut. Take your steak out. Make sure you grab that, make sure you grab your herb branch. You don't need that no more. You can get rid of that. All right, and then you just want to dry them off. Make sure you pat them dry, because they've been sucking in their own juices. Get all the moisture off. That way you get a better sear. You see how that fat has swollen up? That's, you know, they're cooked perfectly. Let's pat them all dry. And we're going to move outside to the grill. Give me a minute and let me set everything up. Alright, being in an upstairs apartment, this is how you kind of got to do your grilling. Don't judge me. It's not my fault. Anyway, the steak's already cooked. We just need to get a good sear on it, right? Then you take your melted butter. Just keep flipping. Same thing. Get your butter on the other side. And then hit it. Alright, we got our beautiful picanha steak. Medium rare, just like we like it. And we got these amazing, excuse me, I'm talking. We got these amazing mashed potatoes with gravy. And there's actually no gravy in it. Let's take a taste test, shall we? Oh, that, oh, that tastes like mushroom gravy, yo. That is amazing. Oh my gosh. And look at that, it's still got some lumps in it. Y'all might have seen my other video, mashed potatoes that wasn't mashed. Those are nice, silky smooth. Those are great, don't get me wrong. They have a time and place. But you can't go wrong with lumpy mashed potatoes neither. Especially not like this. Trust me, those seasonings I told you adds the gravy taste without having to go through the lengths of making gravy. Oh, that's so good. Now for the steak. Let me just grab a piece here. Look at that, y'all. Look at how tender that is. I told you. I don't know if y'all can see that color, the consistency. I don't know if this halo is messing with y'all. But picanha is the queen of steak for a reason. Brazil, you did not disappoint. Let me play that down. And that piece of fat cap, you want it on there. Like I said, that's that soft fat that's in it, like a ribeye. Oh, it's so good. It just melts in your mouth. Oh my God. Here's the thing. Me being a bachelor, I got 4.5 other pieces of this here. I gotta do something with it. I'll figure it out. But yeah, try this recipe. Try use some picanha. Trust me, you can't go wrong. Thank you so much for coming back to my kitchen and seeing what Billy be cooking today. Try this out. I'm telling you, these mashed potatoes are amazing. This picanha, you can't go wrong with picanha. And you see what I did. I got 5 or 6 pieces of steaks out of it. 25 bucks. And it's just as good or better than a ribeye. Where are you gonna get that at? Anyway, thank you so much for coming back. You know I love y'all. I love y'all with all my heart, and I'll see you soon.